Hello guys, my name is Varun and today I'm here to give you a demo of my real-time rendering assignment 1. And this assignment we were required to implement 4 different shading models, and I have opted for Phong shading, Blinn-Phong shading, Gooch shading and Minnaert shading. So all the shaders have been implemented in one single fragment shader instead of having multiple files, which can then be switched using a simple to use UI. And the project has been set up using CMake, so all the dependencies and libraries are included or will be packaged, or you could say downloaded by the project when you run the CMake commands respectively. There are some hard-coded parts, such as this one, which need to be changed to make sure that the program runs. So, yeah, moving on, we'll start with the program itself. We have a very basic scene setup for representing the different shading models. Okay, as you can see that we have a very basic scene and a very basic UI in the scene. So we can move out a bit. So yeah, as you can see that we have four monkeys, and they have different reflectance values, which are which are present over here. Yeah, so like you can see that we have different materials, and from the right, so this monkey on the right, very right, is the shiniest one, so that's the extra shiny material, and this one on the left is the extra rough material. So we have different varying parameters whose values can be seen here in the code. So moving on, we'll just showcase what the different models can do. So like you can see that right now we have the Phong illumination, which is presented or which is shown in the UI, which rendering mode we are using. So right now we are using the Phong illumination. As you can see that we have specular highlights, reflection from the lights, and a directional light. So turning off the point lights, this is just it with the directional light. I will increase the strength a bit. So yes, now you can see that, okay, that's a bit too much. Yeah, so now you can see that we have good reflections on the curvatures, and we have good edge details. It's a pretty smooth model. So this is the Phong illumination model. Again, this is the roughest one, and that is the shiniest one. So you can see that the parameters or the reflectance values are being varied. Next up, we have the Blinn-Phong model. So you might have noticed in the third monkey that the reflections have changed to showcase it better. I'll just activate my point lights. So as you may be able to see, the point lights reflection or the specular is elongated. It is no longer a simple circle, rather it has a good fall off. The advantage of Blinn-Phong model over the Phong model is this thing, that the reflections are way better, and it is also a bit less computationally expensive than the Phong model. So we can disable the point lights, and I'll change the color of the directional light. So now you can see that the reflections are changing color with the directional light's color. So we'll just give it a orange tint, good orange tint. Next up, we have how we can change the object of color of the objects. So next up we have the Gooch shading. If I just go here and I'll put the color on white, so now you can see that this is the Gooch shading. So this is a non-photorealistic rendering or shading method in which you can see that the highlights or the warm part of the scene, this is the reflection from the sun, or the directional light that we have over there, as you can see in the reflection. So yeah, the orange part represents the warm light or the diffuse light, and the blue part represents the ambient intensity or the indirect lighting that is affecting the project that we have. So as you can see, the more the shininess, we can even see some speculars of the sun over here. We have a simple circle, but over here we can see that it's not white-ish, rather it's just orange, to show that it's just the diffuse light and not any reflective light. Next up, we have the Minnaert shading model, which is used for rendering celestial bodies, especially like the moon. So this model, I'll tone down the parameters a bit. Yeah. So as we may be able to see that in the Minnaert shading model, the monkeys are white to black. So as you can see, as we go off, the fall off becomes black, exactly black, like there's no ambient light, right? There's like very little ambient light, because you might be able to tell that in space we don't have ambient light, everything is black, either it is lit by the sun. So this model follows or aims to achieve that effect, and as you can see that we move around the thing, it does exactly the thing that it is supposed to do. So we have the diffuse light as the white light and the shadows as the black light. So again, the amount of diffuse light depends on the reflectance values. So this monkey is darker because the reflectance values are less, so less light is being reflected. This monkey is reflecting the most light. So yeah, that was the assignment. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.